Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Soumya Mittal. I'm a neurologist and today I'll be talking about risk factors which can cause stroke. So, first and foremost, what is a stroke? Stroke occurs when the supply of blood to the brain is either interrupted or reduced. When this happens, the brain does not get enough oxygen or nutrients and the brain cells start to die. Stroke needs to be diagnosed and treated as quickly as possible to minimize brain damage. The treatment depends on the type of stroke. There are two basic types of stroke. One is an ischemic stroke, in which there's a blockage of the blood vessels, there's a lack of blood flow to the affected areas. The other is a hemorrhage, in which there's a rupture of blood vessels and there's a leakage of blood into the brain. Both of these cause the damage to the brain. The most effective way to prevent stroke is through maintaining a healthy lifestyle and treating the underlying conditions that could be a risk factor. The brain hemorrhage is further classified into extradural hemorrhage, subdural hemorrhage, subarachnoid hemorrhage, and intracerebral hemorrhage. Coming to the stroke epidemiology, on an average in India, a stroke occurs every 40 seconds and every 4 minutes someone dies of stroke. Half of all strokes in India can be attributed to a high blood pressure. One fourth of all strokes in India occur in people who have already had a previous small stroke. Strokes are the leading cause of death in India and probably the number one cause of disability. Males are more commonly affected than females in the young and middle aged. The lifetime risk of stroke is higher in females, however. 85% of strokes are ischemic strokes. Almost 20% people above the age of 45 years of age experience symptoms of stroke. 6 to 28% people have silent infarcts in which there are no symptoms which cause the patient to understand that he has developed a stroke. The risk of recurrent stroke occurs in almost 20% of the people at 5 years of age without treatment. Rate of stroke among the people above the age of 65 years has gradually decreased. The rate of recurrent stroke is declining also. Decline is more in high income group compared to the middle or low income group, and possibly this is because of a better management, better medicines that we have for managing the blood pressures and the cholesterols. Now there are two basic kind of risk factors. One is a non-modifiable factors such as age and gender, about which there's not much that we can do. The other is modifiable risk factors for stroke, which include high blood pressure, high cholesterol, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, smoking, heavy alcohol use, drug use, sleep apnea, lack of exercise, and obesity. So, coming first to the high blood pressure, the hypertension. This is the most common modifiable risk factor among stroke patients. There's a racial differentiation which is seen among population. The guidelines have been multiple for the doctors, but the overall message is that the target blood pressure should be at least less than 140/90, if not 130/90. The choice of antihypertensive agent is also very important because the variability of the blood pressure increases the risk factor of stroke. So the variation in the blood pressure during the day of a person should be as less as possible. The other risk factor is dyslipidemia and the atherosclerotic plaques. This is basically the plaques which are which develop in the blood vessels of the person. The cholesterol accumulates in the blood vessel, and this leads to the thinning of the blood vessels, which can further lead to a possibility of developing a clot in the blood vessel. Now, either the cholesterol plaque or the clot can embolize and reach the brain, causing a cerebral stroke or transient ischemic attack, which is like a small stroke. Disorders of glucose metabolism, basically diabetes and prediabetes, also predispose to stroke. Patients with new onset stroke or TIA should be screened for diabetes mellitus with HbA1c or OGTT test. The target HbA1c should be less than 7% and it should be repeated every 3 months. Metabolic syndrome is a combination of 5 factors. hypertension, diabetes, visceral obesity, low HDL cholesterol or good cholesterol, and high triglyceride, which is a bad cholesterol. The metabolic syndrome increases the risk of stroke in females and males both, but more so in females. Obesity is also a factor which for stroke, cancer, diabetes, gout, gallbladder disorders, and osteoarthritis. The excess amount of fat or fatty tissue acts as a repository for the inflammatory cells that causes insulin resistance, hyperglycemia or high sugars, and subsequent promotion of atherosclerosis. Once obesity is diagnosed, one should also be tested for high sugars, cholesterol levels, and inflammatory markers such as CRP. Sleep apnea is becoming gradually common in India. It is also known to cause depression, acid reflux, asthma, breathing problems, low blood oxygen levels, high blood sugar levels, mental confusion, high blood pressure, heart problems, abnormal cholesterols, fatigue, and therefore it also causes stroke in addition to hypertension. It is also an independent risk factor for stroke. It is calculated by the number of respiratory events per hour, which lead to the cessation of breathing and reduction in the airflow. This risk is strong in males compared to females, and the rate of sleep apnea after stroke is high. OSA is associated with the higher post stroke mortality and worse functional outcome. Tobacco use is also a significant risk factor for stroke, whether it is first hand smoking or second hand smoking. Second hand smoking meaning you are in the vicinity of a person who is smoking and you have passively inhaled the smoke of the cigarettes. Both of them are a risk factor for stroke. This is a modifiable risk factor because once you stop smoking, the risk returns to normal over a period of 10 years of abstinence. So, how do we avoid stroke? The lifestyle modification of blood pressure lowering are recommended. These include salt restriction, weight loss, low fat dairy products, regular aerobic physical activity, avoiding alcohol consumption, DASH diet, and Mediterranean diet. Evaluation and treatment of hyperlipidemia is a critical part of stroke management. Agents that reduce cholesterol by 50% or more are called as hypotensive statins. Those that reduce cholesterol by 30 to 50% are known as moderate potency statins. So, other than the diet, these statins are very important for reducing the risk of stroke. Dietary pattern that is most effective for lowering cholesterol and blood pressure include intake of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, low fat dairy products, poultry, fish, legumes, non tropical vegetable oils, and nuts. Limit intake of sweets, sugar sweetened beverages, and red meats. Moderate physical exercise and diabetic diet are crucial for people who have high sugars. Weight loss is among the obese is beneficial. Stroke survivors have a tendency to gain weight due to loss of muscle activity and bulk, and therefore they need very good physiotherapy. Well established risk factors such as hypertension and atrial fibrillation respond favorably to the treatment of OSA. However, the regular treatment for OSA, known as CPAP, is not proven yet to have good outcomes for cerebrovascular disease or stroke. Smoking cessation counseling should be undertaken to reduce the stroke risk, including offering available medicines. Counseling should be done to avoid all forms of tobacco. Increased fruit and vegetable intake are associated with low risk of stroke. Highest protection came from cruciferous and green leafy vegetables and citrus fruits and juices. Caffeinated or decaffeinated coffee decreased the stroke risk by about 10%. Fish served 2 to 4 times per week reduced the risk of stroke compared to less than one serving per week. Mediterranean diet and DASH diet are associated with lower risk of heart attacks, stroke, or cardiovascular disease. Daily serving of soda increases risk of stroke. High salt intake is also independently associated with the increased risk of stroke. Reduction in salt intake also reduces blood pressure. Physical activity is any bodily movement produced by skeletal muscles that result in energy expenditure. Exercise is a subset of physical activity that is planned, structured, and repetitive and has a final or intermediate objective of improvement or maintenance of physical activity. Physical inactivity is defined as no session of light or moderate or vigorous physical activity of more than 10 minutes duration. This also is an risk factor for stroke. For stroke survivors, engaging in physical activity can be challenging due to residual weakness, sensory deficits, neglect, difficulty in coordination, spasticity and stiffness, cognitive dysfunction, or aphasia. Almost 40% stroke survivors have sedentary lifestyle due to the impact of impairments. Physical activity and exercise have a positive effect on risk factors such as hypertension, arterial function, and insulin resistance. Recommendation include aerobic, muscular, strength or endurance exercises, flexibility and neuromuscular activities, as well as frequency, intensity, and duration of activities that can provide multiple benefits for stroke survivors. It is recommended that patients engage in 3 to 4 sessions of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic exercises per week, with sessions lasting an average of 40 minutes. So, how does one recognize stroke? Because it is very important that you know how to recognize a stroke. You might be able to help yourself, your family, or someone in your vicinity if you know how to recognize a stroke. So there's a scale known as the FAST scale. So if you know about the FAST scale, you can recognize the symptoms of stroke as soon as possible. These include facial weakness or the facial deviation. It includes weakness or numbness of one side of the body, of the limbs. It also includes speech deficits. The patient is unable to speak. There's a difficulty in speaking. The speech is altered. It is not clear. So if any of these are observed, it is important that one rushes the patient to the emergency of a hospital with a neurologist as soon as possible, because the treatment for stroke is best if started early. The best outcomes of stroke treatment come when the patients come to us as soon as possible.
मराठी है। मेरे हस्बैंड इस सिचुएशन में आए थे यहाँ पर कि कुछ भी होश नहीं था। मैम, यहाँ का स्टाफ बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत ही गुड डॉक्टर सौम्या मित्तर, जो मेरे हस्बैंड को उन्होंने दूसरा जीवन दिया है। यहाँ का खाना पीना सब बेस्ट है, सब बहुत ज़्यादा बेटर है। हम बहुत खुश हैं। आज हमारा डिस्चार्ज हो रहा है और हम अपने घर जा रहे हैं।
मेरे फादर मिस्टर अरुण सिंह, वी आर रेसिडेंट ऑफ सुपरटेक इको सिटी। अभी 7-8 दिन पहले मैं फिनिक्स हॉस्पिटल लेके आया था आफ्टर अ वेरी क्रिटिकल सिचुएशन ऑफ माई फादर, बट थैंक्स टू मिसेस सोमन मित्तल एंड फिनिक्स हॉस्पिटल, इनकी तबीयत काफ़ी अच्छी है अभी, एंड वी आर गोइंग विद अ वेरी गुड एक्सपीरियंस फ्रॉम फिनिक्स हॉस्पिटल। हम पहले भी इलाज करवा चुके हैं, वी ऑलवेज हैव अ वेरी गुड एक्सपीरियंस विद फिनिक्स, तो वी आर रियली वेरी थैंकफुल टू फिनिक्स हॉस्पिटल एंड दी होल स्टाफ। थैंक यू।
कैसा लगा आपको हमारे पेशेंट्स डॉक्टर बहुत अच्छे हैं, स्टाफ बहुत अच्छा है, सारे की जो यहाँ पे हेल्थ प्रोवाइड सब बहुत ही अच्छे हैं। 2 मंथ का भी एडमिट हो गया, अभी 1 मंथ दोबारा सबको विजिट किया और डॉक्टर मिलकर इनका फिटनेस है काफ़ी अच्छी लगी है, बहुत ज़्यादा इम्प्रूवमेंट है इनकी और बहुत अच्छा लगा है, बहुत ही अच्छा लगा है। और जो बाहर से हम सेफ्टी रूम सब कुछ बहुत ही अच्छा है, सब कुछ टेम्परेचर वैसे फील कर रहे हो यहाँ पे। नेक्स्ट अभी कब है डॉक्टर ने? अभी हमें 1 मंथ की जो कंटिन्यू मेडिसिन दी है उसके बाद को होगा अभी बहुत बेटर फील कर रहे हैं। स्पेशली मैं इनकी जो फिजियोथेरेपी डॉक्टर है, मैं उनका थैंक यू बोलना चाहूँगी से बहुत हेल्प की है। सिर्फ मतलब एक पर्सनल लेवल पे भी जो होता है ना वो चीज़ है इनके अंदर, मतलब ऐसे प्रोफेशनल नहीं है, एक ह्यूमन बीइंग की तरीके से ट्रीट करते हैं। हम लोग बहुत थैंकफुल हैं, बहुत ही थैंकफुल, और स्पेशली डॉक्टर मित्तल जी बहुत थैंकफुल हैं। बाकी आप कितनी रेटिंग देना चाहेंगे फिनिक्स हॉस्पिटल? मैं 10 में से 10 देना चाहूँगी हर चीज़ के लिए। थैंक यू सो मच। मैं रिकमेंड करूँगी सबको यहाँ पर। थैंक यू मैम।
So the idea of putting that up was that stroke is not untreatable. It takes a lot of effort on the part of the medical team, the doctor, but it also takes equally equal amount of stress, equal amount of persistence from the patient to get treated. They need to continue their exercises, the physiotherapy very well so that they can improve. But there's almost always a good improvement in patients of stroke if they come to us within time. So this video is not meant for informative or educational purpose and under no circumstances meant to replace the professional opinion of a doctor or healthcare professional taking care of a patient. Thank you.